When communicating during AviatorWorks training sessions, it's helpful to practice good radio phraseology. Just like learning a new language, using the correct terms and behaviors takes practice. In this lesson, we'll cover some of the most common things you'll be saying and how to say them. So let's go ahead and start with headings. Whenever you reference a heading on your directional gyro or magnetic compass, or have been given instructions to change your heading, you will be expected to read back those headings using this format. You will read them back, the magnetic headings, as 3 individual numbers. For example, if we're flying on a magnetic heading of 340 degrees, you would communicate that as heading 340. You can see some other examples here. 095, 180, 240, 310, 060, over and over. Headings are always 3 numbers. Another expectation relates to communicating altitudes. When you are below 18,000 feet, you will read back altitudes in thousands and hundreds. You can see some examples here. If we're flying at 1,200 feet above the ground, you would say 1,200. Another example, if you're flying at, say, 13,500, you'd refer to this altitude as 13,500, not 13,000, 13,000 followed by hundreds. And we do this because it's easier to understand that over the radio than if you say 13, which if you aren't very clear over the radio or the radio connection's bad, it might come across as 15 or 16. It's very hard to tell. So we say 13,000. Another communication practice you'll be used in training with AviatorWorks is to use your tail number. That is the number literally painted on the tail of the plane and often shown on the placard in the cockpit as well. You'll state the type of aircraft and then the tail number using the phonetic alphabet. So we see some examples here. Cessna 18 Mike, Piper 42 Delta. We'll usually just come up with a tail number unless you have one specific that you want to use, but it's helpful to do this in practice because it's what's going to be expected of you when you make radio calls in real life. So when do you make these calls, or when will you be expected to make these calls? In training, you're going to be expected to state headings, altitudes, and tail numbers under the following circumstances where the information is relevant. When leaving one altitude for another, you will state the altitude you're departing and the one you are climbing or descending toward. You will also use this terminology mentioned when leaving one heading for another, and you'll include the direction of turn. And finally, you'll repeat back the headings, direction of turn, and altitude changes whenever repeating back instructions provided to you by your flight instructor. Let's look at some examples. Here, I've been given some instructions to make a turn to a heading and also climb to a new altitude. So I would respond by saying my tail number, the direction of turn, the new heading, and my change in altitude. So let me just do that now. Cessna 81 Mike, right turn to 150, climbing to 11,000. Let's look at another example. So if I were given instructions to descend with no heading change, I'd repeat back Cessna 81 Mike, descending to 5,500. This kind of behavior, when started early in your training, will help you later on when you speak to air traffic control. You'll use these same behaviors and terms with them. And though it might not seem like it in the beginning, learning to communicate while you fly is a significant mental load. So it's better to get those habits established early. Hope this is helpful.